This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
Tonight we're in storm alert with an isolated area under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. Some of the storms could have quarter-size hail with strong winds. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. Our Weather First team is tracking an isolated severe thunderstorm. Let's get right over to meteorologist Jim Castillo for our forecast, Jim.
Yeah, we've been watching this in Washington County, Missouri, and then it made a little bit of a right turn into Iron County. So really it's mainly Iron County. Let's zoom in a little bit where we've seen that hail up to quarter size and even some wind gusts possibly as high as 60 miles an hour. It's right over Ironton. We'll zoom in just a little bit more here. You see Lopez, Missouri, Pilot Knob to Ironton is where you've seen that thunder and lightning and very heavy rain and the possibility of quarter-size hail and maybe some gusty wind. There's that hail core. It looks like it is going down a little bit, which is good, but that severe thunderstorm warning continues until 5:30 for this area as it moves southeast at about 15 miles an hour. A lot of lightning with this and also some very heavy rain and again a very isolated cell, but there's a couple more popping up. This is Steelville in Illinois and a couple showers and storms popping up there. That's sub-severe. We've seen this one near Pocahontas, right along Interstate 70 in Bond County, kind of percolating up just a bit, but again, sub-severe. I'll have another update if any new warnings pop up in just a few minutes.
And you can get the latest updates on our Weather First forecast by texting the word weather to 314-425-5355.
Right now, police are looking for 4 people connected to a deadly shooting in midtown St. Louis.
A 19-year-old was shot and killed on Olive Street where a large crowd gathered Saturday night. Justina Cornell is live from the crime scene. Justina.
We're on Olive Street near the intersection of Compton Avenue. And earlier today, we spoke to a man who says a large group of people left a bar next door and gathered at the parking lot behind me here. We're told about 200 young people were on that lot. Now, this all happened Saturday night before midnight. Police say 4 people were shot and then dropped off at a nearby hospital. 19-year-old Eddie Randall Jr. died. The others include a 19-year-old man, an 18-year-old woman, and a woman who has not yet been identified. Now, police tell me they have responded to the same area just 2 weeks ago when a large crowd gathered and caused a disturbance. Today I spoke with St. Louis City's Office of Violence Prevention, and they say the office plans to launch a youth assessment center this summer and distribute $3.6 million in ARPA funds to 13 organizations to roll out new youth programs.
We started doing more youth events around the city, so we're going to continue with those. We're also looking at extending the hours of the rec centers again. So it's a mixture of things we did last summer, but also some additional things we will be doing this summer.
Now, police say they will review these incidents and their patrolling measures and will adjust when necessary. Now, they're asking for more information of this specific shooting. If you happen to have any information, you can contact Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. Reporting live, Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
Police are investigating after a weekend of crime in North St. Louis County. They say it all stemmed from a pop-up car show, also known as a slide show. It started in a parking lot in Bridgeton Saturday night. Police say cars were driving erratically. Then, later on, there was a shooting near the Earth City Expressway. Several people were shot. One is still in critical condition. Another driver hit a police officer. That officer was taken to the hospital and later released. The driver now facing several charges, including assault.
Tonight, police are searching for the suspect in a shooting at a St. Louis Metrolink station. We want to warn you, the video you are about to see may be hard for some of you to watch. The shooting happened Saturday at the station near the Bolivar and Forest Park Parkway. Surveillance video shows a fight between 2 girls. A man pulls out a gun and opens fire on a 17-year-old girl. The teen was hit in the arm. No word on her condition. If you have information on the suspect, you're asked to call police.
Tonight, the FBI is asking the public for help finding this man. He's wanted for a hate crime at a bus stop in St. Louis. It happened back in February at the stop near Del Mar and North Sarah. According to witnesses, the suspect was heard saying he hated white people and was going to hurt the victim. The victim was the only white person at the bus stop. Investigators say he hit the victim in the face with a brick, knocking him out. There is a $10,000 reward in the case.
A small town in St. Clair County will soon lose its ambulance service.
5 on your side's Megan Kernan joined us in the newsroom with how this impacts residents in that small community. Megan?
Well, Mike, the ambulance service in the village of New Athens is ending June 2nd. MedStar is going to take over the contract, but some residents tell me they're concerned about response times. Now, the ambulance service started as volunteer work only. Mayor Joe Benkin says the service has only been doing one run per day. The problem has been due to lack of demand and not enough EMT workers, so ultimately the village decided to close it. Now, not only have residents voiced their concern about the response times, but Mayor Benkin says he's worried as well. He's asking for help from the state of Illinois.
And asking, do you want people dying on the streets? That's the end here, is that if you don't have adequate medical transport service, how do you provide a critical medical transport service if you're not willing to pay for it?
Mayor Benkin says the ambulance service has lost over $180,000 since September due to high wages and operating costs. Meanwhile, we reached out to the state leaders to see if there are options to help out the community, but we have not heard back yet.
Megan, thanks. Tonight, child care providers are struggling to keep up.
Missouri lawmakers left Jefferson City last week without expanding early childhood education funding, something Governor Parson called on them to do. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is in studio with more on this.
Yeah, childcare is expensive, but no childcare is even more expensive. That's the pitch Governor Parson made to the House and Senate, but it fell flat, leaving childcare providers looking for support as some of them struggle to stay open.
Parents desperate to find childcare can make a lot of phone calls before they find an opening.
Beta Christian Childcare.
Here, several parents are waiting in line hoping their young one can get in the door.
Our kids have lots of trauma.
Director Lisa Shear runs this North City Child Care Center now in its 25th year.
If we can teach them how to express themselves, how to talk to other kids without fighting, then our crime rate goes down.
This kind of work requires a special kind of worker.
I call her the baby whisperer.
Some of her staff even provide occupational therapy to help infants learn to crawl, walk, and eventually run.
When you have someone that's really good at that, you want to, keep them.
But lately,
childcare providers are closing.
She says a shift in how the state doles out support for parents and delays in payment for providers are putting serious financial strain on the system.
We've been seeing childcare centers close. Even last year, last month in April, I know of 7 childcare centers that closed, myself personally.
That's one reason this caught her attention.
Our state is in a critical need of quality early learning programs.
That was Governor Mike Parson in his State of the State address, citing business leaders who estimate the lack of early learning programs costs Missouri more than $1 billion.
We are proposing a $52 million investment in Missouri's child care subsidy program.
But that didn't happen. The House and Senate held funding flat at last year's levels, offering no increased investment. Separate plans to offer child care tax credits or to allow local governments to raise their own taxes to fund these programs also failed to reach the governor's desk.
We just want to pay our teachers a minimum, a living wage, right?
Shear says the state's austere spending levels are short-sighted.
It affects our economy if your wife can't go to work because, she can't find child care.
Stories like these affect so many families. We heard one anecdote of a working mom who makes $16 an hour. She qualified for the state subsidy to cover that cost of her child care until days ago, and it was just abruptly shut off, she said, without explanation. Now that's money coming out of her family's pockets as she continues working to make ends meet.
2 Iran leaders killed in a helicopter crash. What's next for the country already in turmoil?
Arrest warrants for Israel and Hamas, what it means for their leaders.
It's student loan forgiveness raising taxes? We verify.